we can deviate our process like from one end to another end, or calling some other flows and all these things like or like with the help of a decision shape that we have it. So and then like that. So and then also we have seen that in the decision shape we can call all the four types of decisions that we have it, like decision table, decision tree, when rule, and our map value. So, and we have seen that, when to go for when. I mean, it's not that, creating a decision table is a bad practice or that is good practice. It's not like that. It's something, it's up to the requirement that how basically, you will be using that. I mean, depending on your requirement, you have to choose the best route, basically, like, which decision rule will, fits best in that requirement. So like that. So today we'll see one debugging tool, right, which is called as a clipboard. We'll see it like basically what it is, like why should we use for clipboard and all that stuff. So now let's say like let's say now what I've done is, let's say it's a loan process. Now let's say I'm trying to submit the screen as let's say I've entered mm, first name, last name, date of birth is, let's say I've entered some 2020, and then email address, and then I've then okay, house number, street, city, state, landmark, and pin code that I've entered it. Family details also, let's say I've entered father. Okay, the name, age, and relation. So I've submitted it. Then loan type, education loan, and then loan amount is, let's say, some amount, and then yes, I have, let's say I have existing loan as a home loan. Then this, and create. Okay, submitted it. So now that if you want to know that, like what the, I mean, now that you can see here, like what all things that you have entered. I mean, for example, something you're writing a decision and you're writing, you're checking when condition and all this stuff. So how will you get to know, okay, like whether that is true, false, or like whether that is like what I've submitted and all these things. So that is something like the clipboard will help you to do that. So if you open the clipboard, so your clipboard will look like this. Okay, so now if you just close it. Okay, so now you in the clipboard, or the, like I mean the all that everything divided into four types of pages. One is the user pages, data pages, linked property pages, and the system pages. Okay, so now okay, so now like we have in the on the user pages, if we'll expand, so now you can see the different types of pages that we have, and then one of the type which is called as a py work page. So now whatever, it's a very important page, basically, like to make a note of it. So whatever the work object information, like the, so whatever, because this is a work object, right, or a case or work object. So whatever the work object information that we have submitted or that you're performing, so all that information the Pega stores in a PY work page, very important page, which we can see it in a clipboard. So once you open the clipboard under the user pages category, once you go down, and then if you clicked on this, you can see here the PY work page, right? So if you click on it, you can see that each and everything, whatever that you have entered. I mean, for example, I'm checking that, okay, is like any past loan I have selected as a true and all the stuff. For example, let's say I have checking one condition as like is past loan is equals to okay, for example, loan details, right? So if I open this section, okay, so now I have written this condition, right? I mean, this should come. This layer, this list will, this grid will only be visible when this any pass loan is equals to true. So now, for example, someone has written like this, capital D R U E, okay, or let's say entire capital, okay, something like this, and then I've saved it, and now let's say if I'll try to process the loan, okay, I'll just quickly fill the required fields. Okay, now, uh, okay, oh, I didn't save it. Okay, or let's say, Okay, I'm saying at yes. Okay, I have taken a loan in the past. Okay, so okay, so now like you can see that like now I'm clicking yes. I mean checking that. So now I want to know that okay, like what went wrong. I mean because this basically like is it what is the exact value that you want to know it. So that you can just check it with the clipboard. So now if you open the clipboard and then you can just go to the peer work page, and then from here basically you can copy it and you can just say that no, like this value is basically it's a true. Then only that it will get evaluated. So like that. So whatever the exact value that you have it, like, so whatever the exact value that you have it, like, so all the things, what value that you have related to work object and all those things, you can easily be able to get it with the help of the clipboard. And the clipboard also, there is a pure work page, like, where you can see that all the work object information, whatever that, I mean, the first name, what you have entered, and then any past loan, what is any past loan? Yes, it's true. Then what type of loan that you are applying for, last name, what you have entered in the last name, and then if you come down, then like so all these things, and of course that there will be Pega's out of the box properties too. For example, like you have px, all that, like py, I mean the properties name which starts with px, py, pz, those are like out of the box properties, means that comes with the Pega only. Okay, and then if you now if you see that like we have also added the family details too, right? Family details and like our family details and past loan details and everything. So if we just expand this, you can easily be able to see it, the family details, like so now for this we have not entered any family details. But if you see that, and how will you get to know that or like this is the information of which work object? So that you can see, like for example, this work object is L-17024, right? So now if you go up, so now you can see here like 17024. So now if you want to trace or if you want to debug, like what like I mean this case like 17032, sorry 23, so that one, like you can see it in the thread. So in the thread, if you expand it, so here you can see that, like here, like now you can see that what for this work object, like whatever that details that we have entered or that case. So all that we need to do is we have to just go to the work page, and then here also we can get to know that last name we have entered, email address is this, first name is this, type of loan is education loan, phone number is this, and all these things. And also, if I'll expand the peer work page, if I click on the family details, okay, so now this is the family details I have entered. So now the father's details is this, and then the loan details too. Like if I'll expand this, so now I have entered only one loan detail. So you can see here only one. So like year of loan, tenure, and all these things. So so all these things basically, like you can and then the temporary address, like so how, or like so all these things, whatever, like basically it's a kind of a temporary storage. Temporary storage means, like before, like it will also, not only it will tell you like okay what all, how the values are, so that you can just put it in the condition. You can basically copy this property name and copy the exact prop value, so that if you want to place some when rule and all these things, or else and also it will tell you like what values basically it will store in the table. So for example, like it will, so if you want to know that okay, like in the table, basically because all these details whatever that we are entering, basically unless ultimately, like it will store it in the backend, like store it in the table in the backend. So all these things basically, like it will be there, it will be basically like it will store it over there, so that will also pay clipboard will let you know that. So we can just see that okay, like okay, for in this case, like okay, for like I mean the first name will be stored this, like and the PO work page will be, or sorry, this any past loan will be stored in this, small t, small r, and everything in a small characters, basically. So I like that. So no, okay, and then so I mean, like so pure workplace. So if someone asks you, okay, the if you want to see it, like where my in this case, whatever that I have inserted, basically, like or what I've entered it. So all that information you can see that in the pure work page. Okay, and then the different threads, like on the top you can see that in the different, like whatever the tabs that we have opened it. So all that Pega converts that into a different threads, like L dash and all those things. Now if I, let's say, close this loan, these two tabs, and now if I'll again open the clipboard, you can see that like now only two, like L dash 23 and no 24. And now in the similar way, let's say if I'll close this tab too, and now if I go to the clipboard, by default the Pega has taken me to L dash this one, and then there is no other thread. Thread is the standard and all these things are there, but other than that, like now it like others are not there. So this is how basically, and then this is how basically we use it. And then also like we can create some temporary pages too. I mean, we'll see that when to create some temporary pages and all those things. So all that temporary pages, whether that in that page basically whether that information is there or not, or whether that information got fetched or not. So all these things basically like also can be seen in this clipboard. So, like that. For example, assignment details, right? New assigned page. So we know that, right? Assignments are stored in the assigned dash work list and all those things. And for that, like, if that assignment got created, so in the Pega creates one new page, which is called as new assigned page. One is that a POI work page. A POI work page means like it will store the work object information, and there is a page called as new assigned page. And you can see that class also assigned dash work list. Why? Because we have routed this assignment to the work list. This assignment, right? And this we have routed it to the work list. That is the reason there's a new assigned page. Page is of class assigned dash work list. And the similar way, this peer work page, right? So if I'll expand this, you can see that peer work page class is BOA dash loan application dash work dash loan process. That means this is a process of this is instance of this class, like that. So in the similar way, new assigned page, like you will see that okay, home this has been to whom this assignment has been routed to, and all that stuff. And there are a few more properties which are related to this assignment. So like that. And then which this assignment is related to which work object, so that also like you can see it over here. So this is the work object information, and then this work object class, like so that, and there is a link between, like there is also a link between a work object table and assignment table. Okay, and then urgency and all those things you can see it over here. So under the user pages as this, so from here on, like we'll be start using this clipboard, like so that like so that we'll be having a practice of using this, and also we can understand it much more better way, like okay, because in one day it's very hard to explain like everything in a one day. So once we start using it like clipboard, then other rules basically, like like live UI, so we'll get better, get a better hands on it. So and then we have different types of pages like data pages. So data pages we'll see it in a different section. So like it's a very 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 important thing, data pages, like something which will enhance your I'll just give a high level idea what data pages are. So basically what happens is like this data pages, using the data pages, basically you can increase the you can basically increase the performance, basically, I mean increase like that. So for example, let's say RAM, right? I mean in every laptop phone that we have RAM, right? I mean now the laptops are sorry our laptops and the phones are coming with 4 GB RAM and 6 GB 8 GB RAMs. So and 1 GB RAM too. So now how can we now, like of course, and if I'll tell you, okay, if I'll give you the phone of 1 GB RAM and 8 GB RAM, so of course you and I'll ask you a question like which phone is faster. So of course, right, you'll give me the answer of 8 GB RAM is faster, right? Because the RAM is what? It's a temporary storage, right? I mean, whatever the reuse, I mean, whatever that component that we use frequently, that Pega store, I mean, or that mobile phone stores in that RAM, and then it instead of getting that information from the hard disk, I mean it will get it from the RAM, and it will be faster. It will store more and more in the RAM. In the similar way, like something if we need from the database, so we have something like we have something called as rule a report definition that we can write it. But every time that if I need some data, every time, let's say if I'm fetching country list from the table, so what Pega has to do is it has to go to the table and it has to come back. Right. So that one, everything, like it's something. Okay, that's something like basically like we can get it from like which we can get it with that path, basically, like we can escape, like and whatever the frequency. So whatever the frequently used data is there, we can just store it in the database so that, whenever we need any data, so Pega will not go to the actual database and fetch the data. Pega will get it from the database itself, so through that we can enhance our performance. So that's the reason I've said, like, and my increase and performance is a key part, right? I mean, the data page, I mean, in any application. Now, if I'll give you the application, which will take a minute to get some information, and another application that I give you, which will, like, which will give you the details in a seconds, basically. So of course, the other application, you start liking it, right? In today's world. So that's the reason, like, data page is a key component, key rule, basically. I would say that, then Pega, this is one of the most important rule, like, that's the reason, like, we have a separate session for this. So again, like, so which will learn it. So now, like, as part of this clipboard, I'm just giving you some overview of it. Okay. And then we have link pages, so we'll just skip it for now. And then we have system pages. System pages means, like, okay, so all the system related pages. For example, now that I have logged in, right? So now how will the Pega knows? And as soon as I've logged in, how will the Pega knows? Okay, like, it is Pankaj Bore's information, and then application name is loan application, and all these things. So that is something with the help of the system pages. So now if I'll collapse this and expand this, you can see here, I'm in my application. If I'll click on that application page, so here the Pega gives me everything, like, okay, so who has, updated the operator, and then what is the name of the applications, everything, like, you can see it over here. And whereas if I'll click on the operator ID page, so you can see, like, everything, whatever that I've entered in the operator ID. So here, whatever that I've entered, my phone number, my email address, my access group, and everything, you will see it in that page, like that. So my full name, my first name, last name, my email address, everything, like, you can see it over here. So that is the reason, and we'll also be use this system, page and all those things, in our future sessions too. So that is it, like, so this is all about, like, clipboard. So whatever that like, whatever, like, so just wanted to introduce you with the work page, which is called as a peer work page, which Pega creates its own, like, whenever you run any case or a work object, so Pega creates one in the clipboard. You can see that page, in under the user pages category, and then you can see all that values which will go into a database table. So this is just a temporary, as why the temporary memory, because if I close this work object, like, for example, if I close it, that's it, like, you won't be able to use it. I mean, you won't be able to see that value, basically, unless and until, like, you open that work object again. So that's the reason it's a temporary memory, basically, like, which is stores some data temporary, and then after that, once you complete the entire process, so all that details, like, basically will store it in the backend table permanently. So yeah, okay. So okay. So now, so today, also, like, with this, so today and tomorrow, we'll discuss about two more things, which is again, like, data transform, one of the type of rule. So data transform, okay, what it is. Okay, today, tomorrow, and day after tomorrow. So three days, basically, like, we'll be spending, like, on this data transform only. So again, like, if we are able to wrap it up, then the day after tomorrow we can take some other topics too. So, and then, okay, data transform again, not a, like, so till now we have seen about case type, flow, properties, sections, validations, SLA, classes, inheritance, and all the stuff, rule sets, and then rule set versions, work queue, work basket, decisions that we have seen it. All right. So in the under the decisions too, like, we have seen that in the four types of rules that we have it, like when rule, decision table, decision tree, and decision map. And today we have seen that about clipboard, like, one of them, again, like, tool that which you can use it for debugging, basically, like, I mean, it's not a rule, basically, it's a tool, I mean, which you can debugging tool, basically, one of the. So I'll show you like how we'll make use of clipboard in a real-time development. Okay, so that you can just so that in your mind you can have the exact idea that when should we go for this clipboard and all these routes. So data transform. Okay, so now okay, so now I have a requirement. Okay, so now let's take a requirement and then we'll see that how can we implement that requirement in Pega. So now let's say I'm just running a loan process. So now already like how come basically like so I mean I have a requirement that okay because as soon as like because I'm not coming to this page directly, right? I mean for what once whenever the user has to apply for a loan, then user has to log in with this with his or her credentials, right? And then once the user has logged into the bank portal or the loan portal, whatever, then the user will enter that all these things, right? Look, like all the details. So and then once I logged in with that portal, once I have your credentials, let's say bank will give us the credential, right? Username and password and all those things. So that means that so Vega. So that bank will have all my details, right? My phone number, date of birth, and all those things. So then why should we ask user to enter again this first name, last name? So we can only like, like for example, I have two requirement. One, that, as soon as we come into the screen, this first name, last name should be pre-populated. I mean, I don't want user to enter this, because it's a good user experience, right? I mean, if we'll ask user to enter everything, like, whatever that we also know, so it's not something that, it's a good experience that we are showing. For example, first name, last name, phone number, and email ID. Let's imagine that, for these are the four details that we have to show it, or I mean, pre-populate to the user. And for the first name, last name, we will make it to read only, and first phone number and email address will keep it editable, because there are chances that I mean, let's say I want to give my another phone number or another email ID, so there could be chances of that. But in but the- in but in other case, like we just pre-populate these four fields. And also for the date of birth, we'll just populate it with the today's date. Like for example, as soon as the user see this form, so the user has to see these fields should be pre-populated, like with the date of birth as today's date. Today's date is 20th of February, and then these are the four digits. So now, how will the pagan knows that okay, like who has logged in, or who has I mean, what is the what is my details and all those things. So just now I have shown you, right, one page. So that all thing basically, like we can do it with the all this setting the properties, right? I mean, that we can do it with the data transform. For example, like if you want to set the properties in Pega. Set the properties means, let's say I want to know that okay, the first name should be equal to right, let's say, like and the city should be equals to Hyderabad, like that. So something like I want to set it, right? I mean, like that. So all that thing that we can do it with the help of a data transform. Okay, so now how to create a data transform? So now again we'll go to the app explorer, and again depends basically if you want to reuse this one and all those things. So it depends, like where you want to create this rule. So now I mean, I'm just creating in this loan process class only. So if I'll do a right click, create data model, data transform, and then set personal details. Okay, so now this is how the data transform looks like. So this data transform has four columns: action column, target column, relation column, and source column. So this action means the Pega has provided these 14 actions. Okay, so now we'll in our next to like sessions, we'll go deeper into all these actions, like what basically, like when should we go for all these things. And okay, so now this the most frequently used and most important one is a set. Set means the name itself suggests what will it do, what action will it do. Set means it will set the properties, and target means what property that you want to set. So now set, and then if we just put a dot, and let's say for now I want to set the first name property, and then relation. This relation basically, this column changes, and this value basically changes based on this action. Whatever the action you select, right? So that based on that it will select. Sorry, it will change. So and now it's equal to, and now the source. Source means what source or what value that you want to set it in this first name. For now, let's say I'm hard coding it to Pankaj. And now in the second, like, so now I want to set, let's say email address. Email address, I want to set it as pankaj@pega.com. That's it. So now, for now, I'm setting these two properties, and then I want to set the date also. Let's see, like, date of birth, and then if you want to set the today's date, right? So now Pega has given one function. Like, there are many functions. Like, one of the function is at the rate date time. So now, if you want to see that, okay, what is the functions and all these things, how to find those functions and all that stuff. So you just click on this gear icon. So once you click on that, and then click on this browse, and then you can see all the functions, like, again, written in Pega, sorry, written in Java. So which will perform some like, task. For example, you have date time. So here you can see that current date, and then if you come down, then the current date time. So if you add it, so if you just test it, so here it is, and now just test that. Sorry. So once you test this, you can see that the Pega is giving you the time, right? So it's today's date is 20, like 2002, I mean the February month, and the year is this. Because I'm saying current date time, that is the reason after T, whatever the T is there, like that is the time, or like in the hours, milliseconds, and all that stuff, like that. So, and that is it. So now if you're getting a right value, so just submit that. That's it, and save it. That's it. Now that we have designed some basic data transform. So now the next thing is, like, how will the Pega knows, okay, like, because we have, if I show you the case type, so we have one, two, three screens are there. So how will the Pega knows, okay, like, which how, like, these three fields basically, like, I have to display in which three sections, which three screens, right? So that also we have to tell to the Pega. All right, so that we can do it with the help of a flow action again. So the flow action, so already we have seen a flow action, right? So in the flow action, we have done the validation tab, right? We know that, okay, we can do the validation. So for example, let's say if I try to submit the screen, so with the help of a validation, I can validate the details, whether the user has entered the proper details or not. So in the similar way, we have one more tab which is called as an action tab. Okay, so now in the action tab, which we have something called as a pre-processing. Pre-processing means, so as soon as the Pega, as soon as we Pega calls this flow action, the Pega first thing, the Pega will check, okay, like, do I have to perform some action? Do I have to perform some action before loading the section? So if it's blank, then the Pega will not perform anything, and directly it will load the section. And once the Pega submits this section, then the Pega will say, okay, do I have to validate the details? The Pega will check, okay, if I have to validate, okay, what do I have to validate? Now it's blank. That means the Pega will not validate anything and submit the details, even if we have entered the wrong data, like that. Okay, so that we have it. So it's a pre-processing that we have it, and you can see here the Pega is asking me, okay, do you want to perform some action before, or do you want to set some properties before that section loads and all the stuff? And now in our case, yes, that we have it, and this is that data transform that I want to call, and now I'll save it. Okay, and now if I try to create a new case, you can see here, like, automatically the first name, like, got populated with the Pankaj, and the date of birth also, you can see here, it is, now it's by default, it is set to today's date, and the email address also got populated in that. And now my requirement is first name, last name. I want to make it read only, so that we can do that in the section rule. Open that section, and then go to the first name, and then go to the presentation tab, and then edit option, right? Just make it to read only. So just read only, and just select this always. I mean, that, here is that option is read only when. I mean, and there is you can just, even you can have that, your own when condition. I mean, the when rule, that whatever that when rule we have seen, right? Either you can create your own when rule, but let's say there is or out of the box when rule is there, which is called as always. So you can just make use of that too, because in this case, always we want to make first name as read only. So I have done that, submit this, and the similar way, just let's do it for the last name too. Okay, so now, okay, and then I'll remove this required one also, because automatically I'm populating it. So it's, even if you don't make it required, like that. So now I can see that, like, if I'll make it required, like, if I'll remove it from the required, let's say, so one more option got added, which is called as read only always. So if you choose this one, so you don't have to put that one rule also. If you, let's say, if I'll select read only always, that means it's always be read only, like that. So let's save it. And now if I'll try to create a new case, you can see that now that, it's got, populated. So the last name and also, like that. So this is how basically, like, simple data transform that we can use it. Okay, so I'll take it as a no. So then okay, so now what we'll do is, like, okay, so now what we'll do is, like, yeah. So this is not, I mean, now if I'll ask you, okay, this is a correct behavior, of course it's not, right? I mean, because I mean, every time, let's say, if you also log in, or if you're also using this application, so if you're also trying to use applying for a bank loan, then it for you also, that first name will get pre-populated as, first name, and all the, and another thing is that, it's read only, you can't even edit it. And and that email ID will get populated as, this one, which is not correct, right? This is not your email ID. So something, so we have to make it dynamic, right? I mean, we have to dynamic, like, so whoever has logged in, we have to show only their details, and not some hard coded data that, we don't want to show it, right? So in that case, our clipboard will help you to do that. So now, and now, like, if we go to our data transform, so already this data worth, we have made it to dynamic. So now if for tomorrow, if we create a case, that this function will give us the to the tomorrow's date only. Okay, so now okay, and then if you can just search this function too. Like, now if you want to see it, okay, like, what is this function and all these things, you can just search with that. So you can see here, this is a function date time, and then you can see that Java code over here. So you can create your own function too. I mean, so all that stuff. So depending upon the requirement, let's say there is a function which is not available in Pega, and all that stuff. So you can just do that as well. So now let's make it dynamic. So now I've already shown you, right, just now, like, a few minutes ago, that, and in our clipboard, the page, there's a page which is called as operator ID page, which will stores the operator ID details. Like, whoever has logged in, the Pega stores that particular logged in person details in this page. So we'll just make use of this page only. So what we'll do is, we'll just copy this page, and now, and just go to the pages and classes, just copy that. And this page is of which class? So this is the class px obj class. So just like, this page is of, and you cannot see that, right? Data dash admin dash operator ID dash page and all those things. So that class, just copy it, and class name is this, and this page that you want to refer it, right? Just copy it and then paste it over here, and dot which property, like, so you can see that one of the property is yeah, py first name. All right, so this property you can basically use it. So dot py first name, and then in the similar way, let's say, let's add the last name to, last name is equals to operator ID, sorry. So operator ID page dot clipboard. Mm, this is py last name. Okay, so now the two properties got set, and the email address true. Okay, and before that we have phone number field, right? So let's set the phone number fields as well. Phone number, phone number is equals to, yeah, but and then you can only see that in the operator ID page if you have updated. Like, for example, if your operator ID, right, let's say it doesn't have a phone number and doesn't have an email address, like, so in that case, like, you won't be able to see that, you won't be able to see this information. So that I'm able to see it in the clipboard, because I have entered first name, last name, my full name, my phone number, email address. That is the reason, like, I am able to see all that information in the operator ID page. Okay, so just make sure that like you have these informations like in your operator ID record, then only you will be able to see it. So yeah, so let's save it. Okay, let's see. Just change it to yeah. Okay, and now phone number. Phone number also we have it. If we go to the clipboard, then operator ID page. So there is one property which is called as a telephone. So it's PY telephone. Okay, just stop me like whenever that you are feeling any confusion. So like that. So okay, so now three values, three property that we set, and then the email address also we have to set. So now again, we'll take a help of a clipboard. So email address, you won't be able to find it here under the operator ID. So you have to just expand this operator ID, and there is a page group property which Pega creates. Page group property, here it is. PY addresses, so here it is. So you can see that inside that this, and how will you know it's a page group property? Because the subscript is string. So this with this you can get to know that this is a page group property. Okay, so now just copy the entire thing. So always like don't like just see it and start typing it over here, because sometimes we make a spelling mistakes or some uh, like or something, we write it in the uppercase, lowercase, and all these things. So instead of doing that, the best way is like just copy it and paste it like wherever that you want to use it. That is the reason like I'm not typing it, I'm copy pasting it. So this is the best way to do that. Otherwise there are 91 or 100% chances are there you might can make a mistake, some spelling mistakes and all these things.